everyone, my name's Ellie. I'm warning you at the very beginning that all the names I used are fake. I don't want mine or my parents' identities to be released, so I use fake names. This story is about my entitled and scheming sister, Candy. She's my younger sister and has always been a spoiled child. No, my parents, Paul and Jane, were not abusive towards me, but they paid more attention to her because she was younger. In the beginning, I wasn't that concerned about the favoritism my parents showed. Hell, I loved my sister dearly and spoiled her myself. However, everything changed when my sister grew up. My parents are fairly wealthy but lived a simple life, and so did I, but my sister always wanted more. She complained about our simple lifestyle and demanded we spend more, especially on her. When we didn't budge, she started to manipulate us. She always played the victim and didn't last at any of her odd jobs. She always claimed that she had been bullied and worse. My parents believed all her lies and started to support her financially. I saw through her lies and said, "Candy, what you are doing is not okay. I know that you've never worked at any job and lied to our parents about being bullied. You need to stop with the lies." "Oh, shut up, Ellie. You have a good job and live like a beggar. Our parents and you can live like that, but I can't. They have plenty of money lying around. They should just give it to me since they don't use it." "You can't rely on their money, Candy. It's shameful how much you have been exploiting them. You should try to find a job if you want a good life." "I don't need your lectures, Ellie. Mom and Dad are stupid and don't know how to have class. I can't be like them. Plus, I'm their daughter, so I'm entitled to their money." Candy's logic had always put me off. Still, I didn't want to expose her to our parents. I protected her and sometimes ignored her lies. My parents loved her and knowing the truth would have crushed them. I helped them and Candy out at times so that my parents didn't end up spending all their money on her. Candy never showed any appreciation for that. She always thought that she was entitled to their money. For years, Candy lived a luxurious life on our dime. Mom and Dad were hopeful that someday she would become independent. But that day never arrived. Candy continued her horrible lifestyle while playing victim to our parents. They swallowed her lies because they trusted her. What was worse was the fact that Candy cared nothing about me or our parents. That became clear very soon. My parents got into a horrible accident a year back. They were in critical condition and the doctor told us that the chances of survival were low. While I was close to breaking down in the hospital, Candy said, "Wow, looks like their time is up. I can't believe it took them so long. I wonder how much longer it will be. The doctors are not very hopeful." "Candy, how can you even think of that right now? Our parents are close to death and you don't feel anything?" "Don't be so dramatic, Ellie. Mom and Dad were only good for money. It's even better if they're not here. They have been pressuring me to get a job. It was irritating. Anyway, now that there is a little hope for them, I will head out. Don't call me unnecessarily. Just give me a sweet call when they're gone. I need to sort out the inheritance and all." "Candy, what is wrong with you? Don't you want our parents to live? How can you even think of inheritance right now?" "I have no use being here, sister. I know Mom and Dad will leave me most of their assets. I'm the poor, jobless daughter after all. They have promised me that, so I have no reason to be here anymore. I'm off for a nice vacation. Call me when you have my inheritance ready. Bye." I couldn't believe what Candy did. Her sadistic approach to her own family threw me into rage and sadness. But I held strong for my parents. I emptied out my own bank account to get them the best treatment. Finally, after a month of struggling, I was able to bring them home. Candy didn't show up or even call once after that day. My parents wanted to see her, but she didn't even receive my calls. They were still recovering, so they didn't have the energy to deal with this. It broke my heart to see them yearn for Candy. About 2 weeks after my parents came home, they called an estate lawyer to their house. I was at their place looking after them. When I saw the lawyer, I was a little confused. I said, "Mom, Dad, why is the estate lawyer here? Did you call him?" "Yes, Ellie, we called him. We actually don't have a proper will in place. With what happened recently, we want to make sure our will is set." Yeah, it was quite a scare. It got us thinking about finalizing the will. So we have been thinking about splitting our assets, 80-20. Candy will get more because she needs the money. I hope you understand, Ellie. We had promised her that we would look after her and leave her a big inheritance. She was really worried about her future when we last met her. We really think splitting equally would have been better, but it pains us to see Candy in so much trouble. She has had bad luck, my poor child. You are pretty set with your finances and won't miss the money. Hearing that made my blood run cold. I wasn't interested in my parents' money. Hell, I already told you guys how I gave them money to bail my sister out of debt. What shocked me the most was the fact that Candy had been putting ideas into their head for a long time. She planned exactly how she could get our parents to give her most of the inheritance. My loving parents bought her crocodile tears and were about to give away their hard-earned money to a selfish idiot. I knew that I needed to say something. After years of putting up with my parents being exploited, I just couldn't take it anymore. I decided then and there that I would end Candy's game. I needed to do this for my parents. They didn't deserve to be deceived like this. I said, "Mom, Dad, I think you should reconsider your decision. I don't think you should just hand over Candy so much of your assets." "Why, Ellie? What's wrong with our decision? I know that we are not splitting the assets 50-50, but I'm sure you understand why." "Poor Candy has had a hard life, Ellie. She needs our help more. You have always been the daughter who made us proud with her achievements. You even have a comfortable life. Candy simply needs the money more than you." "Mom, Dad, you have it all wrong here. Candy is not the person you think she is. She acts to be poor and unlucky, so you give her more money." "What? What are you saying, Ellie?" I took the opportunity to tell them everything from the fake bullies at her job to her being mentally sick and having no money. I also gave them details to prove that I was telling the truth. My parents seemed shocked by the information. Unfortunately, I also had to point out her lack of help while they were fighting for life in the hospital. Still, my parents seemed to be in disbelief. I said, "I'm sorry I had to say these things. I've been sheltering her for a long time. I just can't do it anymore. All these years, I truly believe that no matter how manipulative she is, she definitely loves you guys. But after your accident, her true face came out to me. I can't and won't protect her anymore." My parents refused to believe that Candy would be so cruel. It broke my heart to see them in such deep denial. I knew that the moment they realized the truth, they would be devastated. I almost gave up on the truth, but I didn't back out of speaking about Candy. My parents didn't deserve to be deceived like that. So I said, "I know it's hard for you to believe this. I wish it wasn't the truth and Candy was a nice person, but think about it. Mom, Dad, did Candy call you even once when you were in the hospital?" "No, she did not. But what if she was busy looking for a job? She had promised that she would find a job and better herself. Maybe she was just struggling and desperate to find a job, so she didn't get the time to contact us." "I don't think that's true, Paul. I looked up her social media yesterday. She's having a beach vacation 2 states over. I guess Ellie is not far from the truth." "Look, I don't want to ruin my sister's reputation, but what she did recently pushed me over the edge. I don't want you to waste your money on someone who doesn't deserve it. I would rather you give it away to charity. If you were still unsure about everything, why don't I just call Candy and clear it out for you? My parents agreed for me to call Candy and see her reaction. They desperately wanted Candy to ask me about their health. I was in pain from how hopeful and vulnerable they looked. I was actually praying to God that Candy wouldn't say anything drastic. I was also concerned that she wouldn't pick up my calls again. But Candy did pick up the phone after I called her like 10 times. When she finally did pick up my call, she hit me with the worst question on this planet. Before I could say anything, she said, "So, are they dead already? You would not have called me so many times if they weren't dead. I guess I made that clear the last time I saw you. So, Mom and Dad are gone, right? Gosh, it took them time. What are you saying, Candy? It's not like that. Finally, our filthy parents are dead and they left all their money to me. It was so easy to sell the poor little me card to them. They have always been weak towards me. And I always knew the right things to say to make them give me money. But I feel so bad for you, Ellie." "Oh, really, Candy? Tell me why on earth you suddenly feel bad for me." "You tried so hard to be a good daughter and did everything for them, but in the end, I won all the money. You know, I feel sorry for you. You should have taken some lessons from me to get money out of them. Look what being successful did to you. I did nothing, but still got a chunk of money." "I'm so ashamed of you, Candy. Don't you feel even a little remorse about our parents dying? Are you even sad?" "Why would I be sad, Ellie? Do you have any idea how much I had to do to make them give me money? They are cheap and have low standards. I can't tell you how embarrassing it was for me to bring my friends home. They were really embarrassing. The only thing they were good at was making money. Now that I have all of that for myself, there's no reason to be sad. I'm just happy I won't have to beg for money anymore. I was getting tired of it." "Well, congratulations to you then, Candy. Our parents were the only reason I was still talking to you. Now I have no reason to stay in contact with you anymore. As for the money, you can keep it. I never ran after it anyway." "I don't care if you don't stay in contact with me, Ellen. Just know this. I won't be responsible for the funeral or anything. It's a waste of my money. Since you want to be a generous daughter, you can handle it yourself." Candy said that and went on laughing about it. My parents were horrified at what she said. To be honest, I didn't know that she would be so cold about the news I gave her. I was shocked to see her reaction as well. As for my parents, their horror soon turned to anger, which was clear on their faces, and this time I took the opportunity to tell Candy how wrong she was. I said, "You really do have everything planned, don't you? So quickly you assumed that our parents had died. Well, let me tell you this, Candy, they are very well, and sitting right next to me. In fact, they have heard the entire conversation." "You are lying, Ellie. Mom and Dad were in a terrible condition after the accident. There is no way they recovered from that so fast. Hell, even the doctor said that there is no hope." "The doctor said that there is little hope, Candy. You heard that one line and flew away to celebrate your impending inheritance. Not once did you check up on them to see if they have recovered. How would you know they're alive?" "This is nonsense, Ellie. I'm sure this is some scheme of yours to take away from my inheritance. You must be jealous because our parents left everything to me." This is when my dad and mother decided to pounce on Candy. They were mad and ready to erupt. I could tell that Candy had truly broken their hearts. While they were very loving parents, they were equally strict and did not take disrespect from people. They said, "Me and Jane are both alive and well, Candy. Thanks for letting us know what you think of us." "What? Dad, you're okay? Oh my God, I'm so glad you're fine. I was dying from worry and pain. Is Mom okay?" "Do you want to know if I'm alive?" "Yes, Candy. I'm alive and fine. It must be a sad blow to you, isn't it? And no, you are clearly not glad that we are alive. Mom, what are you saying? Of course I'm glad that my parents are well. This is all I always wanted. No, Candy, you clearly didn't want us to live. You never visited us or tried to meet us at the hospital. Hell, I even saw you reject Ellie's calls when she reached out to you. Now that you finally picked up, you immediately assumed we were dead. And you seem very delighted by the idea of us dying. I mean, who wouldn't want their filthy parents to die, right, Candy? No, 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 Mom, Dad, please listen to me. I don't know what Ellie told you guys. She must have filled you with some lies about me. I swear I never said anything like that. I couldn't come because I was busy trying to find a job and feed myself. Don't give us those lies again, Candy. We've seen your social media posts and you were on loudspeaker all along. Candy panicked and immediately hung up the call out of fear. She must have realized her stupidity and was starting to freak out. She then very sturdily called me back to scream at me. She said, "How dare you put me on the loudspeaker, Ellie? You did this on purpose. You spoiled my image to our parents. Now I will have to beg and plead with them like a beggar to get back in their good grace. You were the one who showed them the social media posts, right? I hate you." Dissing on Ellie won't do you any good, Candy. You were still on loudspeaker. And we heard all that again. Dad, Mom, please listen to me. I didn't mean to say those things. It was a coping mechanism. You know, I'm having a hard time in life. I just snapped and said some stupid things. Stop trying to manipulate our parents again, Candy. You have absolutely no shame after insulting our parents and planning to enjoy their inheritance. I know this is all you could ever think about, Candy. Their inheritance is the only reason you have been acting like a poor girl with no money. There is no use for the drama anymore, Candy. Just so you know, while you were busy celebrating our death and taunting Ellie, we were sitting with a lawyer. What? You're talking to a lawyer? Is it about... Yes, it's about our will, Candy. After what we've witnessed today, I think Jane would agree with me that we no longer want to leave you anything. Right, Jane? Absolutely, Paul. There is no way I would leave anything to an ungrateful child like Candy. What you have done today was truly disgusting, Candy. I can't believe I raised a selfish and cruel woman like you. Mom, Dad, please don't do this to me. I slipped up and said some things I regret. I'm sure Ellie understands why I did it. I was under a lot of stress. I started to laugh at Candy's attempts to recruit me. Yes, it's true that I often helped her get out of trouble. She is my little sister and I did want the best for her, so she naturally assumed that I would help her get out of trouble this time. What she didn't know was that I had no intention of saving her anymore. I was done. I said, "I have covered for you a lot of time, Candy, but this time you have taken it too far. You literally wished upon our parents' death, Candy. How can I support that? You said nasty things to me as well. I will never forgive you for this. Today, it is important everyone knows how truly vile you are." Ellie, please don't say that. You're my sister. You know that people sometimes make mistakes. Where is Mom and Dad? I'll go right now and beg for forgiveness. There's no need for that anymore, Candy. Me or your mom want nothing to do with you anymore. We helped you out through the years and didn't deserve this reward. We are disinheriting you and giving everything to Ellie. Lawyer, you can go ahead and make our will on those terms. We won't change our mind. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Mom said that and promptly hung up on Candy while she was crying and screaming for forgiveness. Dad and Mom were quite sad as well, but most of all, they were angry. I tried to comfort them the best I could. I also told them to make their decisions after long consideration because I didn't want them to regret disinheriting Candy. My parents heard that and started to cry. They said that they finally realized how much they had neglected me and taken me for granted. I assured them that I held no anger. Dad and Mom still went ahead with their decision to disinherit them. Around 2 days after the incident, Candy showed up at my parents' place. She was on a trip with friends and needed time to come and hound them in person. She did continue to harass me and my parents through calls and texts, and when Candy arrived at their door, she looked really disheveled. I guess the gravity of the situation finally dawned on her. She begged me and my parents to forgive her. However, Dad told her to leave the property and never come near them again. Mom actually threatened to call the police if she didn't leave. Candy left after she realized that there was nothing she could do. Mom and Dad stopped paying her rent and she ended up losing her apartment in 2 months. None of her friends let her stay in their house because they knew she had no money and didn't want to work. She did return to our doorstep to beg, but no one paid her any attention. Last I heard, she was crashing on a friend's couch who gave her a month to find a place. She has been applying at the local grocery stores and cleaning services for a job. I don't know if anyone will ever give her one because by now everyone knows her character. Anyway, I'm still at my parents' place and have moved in permanently. They are struggling both mentally and physically after the accident. I'm doing my best to take care of them, and the 3 of us are as happy as we could be under the circumstances.